Okay, so imagine this. You walk into a phone store, you got a budget of around 40,000 rupees, and you want something that does not look like every other boring slab of glass on the shelf. You want a camera that actually makes people ask, hey, what phone is that, when they see your photos. And you want a battery so big that plugging in your charger at night feels more like a choice than a necessity. Now, what if I told you that Vivo just dropped a phone that is trying to check all three of those boxes at once, and it is called the Vivo V70 FE? And yeah, FE stands for Fashion Edition. I know, sounds a little extra, but stick with me because this phone has some genuinely wild things going on under the hood and on the outside that I think are worth talking about in detail today. And hey, real quick before we get into it, if you are new here and you love honest tech content with zero fluff, smash that subscribe button right now and drop a like on this video. It genuinely helps this channel grow and it lets me keep doing these reviews. Okay, now let us get into it. So let us start with design because this is where Vivo is clearly putting a lot of effort and it shows. The V70 FE comes in this color called Northern Light Purple, and listen, I am going to stop you right there because this is not your standard purple gradient that every mid-range phone does. This phone has something called Darkness Glow Energy built into the back panel. What that means is there is a photoluminescent material embedded in layers inside the back cover that actually glows in low light situations. So when you are in a dark room or you set the phone down at night, the back of the phone shifts in appearance and gives off the subtle glow effect. It is like the phone has a personality of its own, and honestly, it is one of those things that you kind of have to see in person to fully appreciate. If purple is not your thing, they also offer a monsoon blue option which has a more clean satin finish that resists smudges pretty well for a polycarbonate body. And yes, the body is polycarbonate, so it is not metal through and through, but here is the thing about the V70 FE that genuinely surprised me. This phone carries an IP68 and IP69 rating. You read that right. IP69 is not something you see on a 40,000 rupee phone. That means this thing can survive immersion in up to 1.5 meters of fresh water for up to 2 hours, and it can handle high-pressure water jets as well. So if you are the type of person who has dropped their phone in the sink or got caught in the rain, the V70 FE is not going to die on you, and that is a massive deal at this price segment. The form factor itself is nice. You are getting a 6.83-inch display that is slightly taller and bigger than the standard V70. The edges are straight and flat on the sides, the corners are rounded, and at 7.6 millimeters of thickness, this phone actually feels slim in the hand despite packing everything inside it. The camera module on the back is pill-shaped this time around, which is different from the squared-off module on the regular V70, and personally I think it looks cleaner. There is an Aura ring light built into the module too, which gives you that aesthetic ring flash for photos and videos. It does add a small wobble when you set the phone flat on a desk, but nothing dramatic. Now let us talk about the display, and I want to give credit where credit is due here. You are getting a 1.5K AMOLED panel with a 120Hz refresh rate and up to 1900 nits of peak brightness. The resolution sits at 1260 by 2800 pixels, and the panel covers 100% of the DCI-P3 color gamut. So colors pop, blacks are deep, and outdoor visibility is solid for this price range. You also get a stereo speaker setup, which is nice for media consumption, and the earpiece doubles as the second speaker. Honestly, for watching videos, scrolling social media, or playing a game, this display does a really good job, and it does not feel like a compromise at all. Alright, let us pause for a second here because I want to highlight something really important. We are about halfway through this review, and if you are finding this useful, please go ahead and hit that like button right now. It takes 2 seconds, and it really does push this video out to more people who are trying to make the right buying decision. Okay, back to the phone. Performance is where things get a little more nuanced, and I want to be straight with you about this. The V70 FE is running on the MediaTek Dimensity 7360 turbo chip built on a 4nm process. On the higher variant, you get 12 GB of LPDDR5X RAM paired with 512 GB of UFS 3.1 storage. Vivo has also included a vapor chamber cooling system that spans over 4,000 square millimeters, which helps with sustained workloads like long gaming sessions. Now, this chip is not going to blow your mind on benchmarks. If you compare it to something like the Snapdragon 7 Gen 4 inside the regular V70 or the options inside phones like the OnePlus Nord 5 or Oppo K13 Turbo Pro, you will see a gap in raw numbers. But in real-world everyday use, handling social media, streaming, taking calls, running productivity apps, even playing casual to moderate games, the Dimensity 7360 Turbo handles it well. It is not a slouch, it is just not the most powerful chip in this price range. If you are a hardcore gamer, this matters. If you are the average daily driver user, it probably will not bother you at all. What is really exciting and something I have to talk about at length is the camera system. The V70 FE is headlining with a 200-megapixel primary sensor with optical image stabilization and an f/1.88 aperture sitting in a January 1st 56-inch sensor size. That is a genuinely large sensor for a mid-range phone. Now here is something clever Vivo is doing. Because of all that resolution, you can shoot at multiple effective focal lengths from a single lens. You can frame shots at 23mm wide, or compress to 35mm, 50mm, or even 85mm without losing meaningful detail because the sensor has so many pixels to work with. Vivo claims it can go all the way to 30x zoom without it completely falling apart. That is pretty remarkable for a phone without a dedicated telephoto lens. Paired with that, you get an 8MP ultrawide for getting those broader landscape shots in. There is also an AI or a light flash on the rear, which is great for close-up portraits and gives a softer, more flattering light than a traditional LED. The front camera is a 32MP shooter capable of 4K at 30 frames per second, and based on what we know about past Vivo cameras in this range, selfies should be impressive with good skin tones and solid dynamic range. Vivo has also loaded this phone with AI camera features, including things like AI magic weather effects, AI floral effects, and a range of shooting modes. They want to give photographers at every skill level something to play with, and it shows. The software running all of this is OriginOS 6 based on Android 16, which is the latest version out of the box. And Vivo is promising 4 years of OS updates and 6 years of security patches, which is a legitimately impressive commitment for a mid-range phone, and puts a lot of competitors to shame on the software support front. Now the battery. Oh, the battery. This is one of the biggest reasons people are going to buy this phone, and honestly, it deserves the attention it is getting. The V70 FE is packing a 7,000 mAh cell. To put that in perspective, that is 500 mAh more than the already large battery in the regular V70. Vivo says this thing can push over 40 hours of YouTube playback on a single charge. 40 hours. And when you do need to plug in, you get 90-watt flash charge wired charging, which takes the phone from dead to fully charged in about an hour flat. You also get reverse wired charging, which lets you use the V70 FE as a power bank for other devices. The one thing it does not have is wireless charging, and at this price that is a bit of a miss, but honestly, with a battery this size and charging this fast, it is hard to be too upset about it. So here is where I land on this phone after going through everything. The Vivo V70 FE is a really interesting package that is clearly built for a specific type of buyer. If you love photography, you want your phone to turn heads, you care about battery life above almost everything else, and you want to run the latest Android with a long software commitment, this phone is genuinely compelling. The glow-in-the-dark design alone is a conversation starter, and the IP68 and IP69 rating at this price point is something I did not expect at all. The 200-megapixel camera with OIS and the creative focal lengths you get out of it make this a legitimate camera phone contender in the mid-range. The display is crisp and vibrant. The software is polished even if it comes with some bloatware. The trade-offs are real though. The chipset is not class-leading, and if gaming performance is your #1 priority, you can find better options at a similar price. The haptics feedback is not the most satisfying. And yes, the software has ads and some pre-installed apps that you will want to clean up right away. But none of those things are deal breakers for the audience this phone is made for. If you liked the review, subscribe for more.